Hey guys, it's Eagle, and welcome back into another episode of Monifactory. I've got no time to waste today as I have a base to start building. So enjoy the time lapse. If you guys do enjoy this, and at any point you feel so inclined, please hit the like button because this took me quite a bit of time. So I hope you guys like it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. This is just a little taste of what we're going to be building with this new base. We can expand in any direction we please, as I like the style we're going with, and we'll surely be able to continue adding on to it and refining and adding more detail, but I'm super pleased with the way this turned out, and I hope you guys are too. Just let me know down in the comments. One more quick walkthrough, the new base. Spent a lot of time building and gathering the materials for this. A lot of buildings in the Lost Cities are now gone because of this. Let's go ahead and enter the main lobby area. This is where all of our other buildings are going to branch off. As you can see, I've already made a couple doorways. Haven't dug anything out yet, but you can kind of see the vision. Now, I was in such a groove and I realized that the time lapse was a little bit long-winded, so I just went ahead and continued building on my own a little bit. This is going to be where we're going to move all of the stuff that we have at our other house. It's pretty basic. We're going to call this the LV area or the early game area, but I have a little hallway in here, some cool lighting, and I made this little tank that I think is really cool. It'd be nice to have some fish in here jumping around, or some frogs, something like that. Add a little spice, a little bit of life. But the main thing is this room here. Now, one of the main problems that I realized way too late is that this is not chunk aligned. No, it's not chunk aligned. I made the rookie mistake. This is not chunk aligned, but that's okay. This isn't going to be for the machines. This is going to be for the machines, and this is where I chunk align things. So we have some chunks here that are going to be uninterrupted, and this is where we're going to place basic machinery here until we continue to need more and more space. But I love the way this room turned out. I'm doing a lot more playing around with lighting in my builds now, just because I love the shaders so much. It just makes everything look so cool. And thanks to the shaders that I'm using, I actually have colored lights. It doesn't work with everything. I really wish it did. I really wish these orange framed corner strips with the anti-blocks in them would emit an orange light. I do think that'd be awesome. I don't know if there's mods out there that will do that with the anti-blocks mod, but for right now, the white glow is actually perfect. I really like it. So now it's time to do all the boring stuff and move over all of our machines and set up some basic infrastructure. I'm going to save you guys the trouble of having to watch me do all that, and I'll just have it done when I come back. All right, that took a little bit longer than I thought it would because I made some more machines. I have this basic setup here with the steam grinders going into the new steam separator that we built. So basically, we can take in our raw ores. Right now, I'm just testing it with raw vanadium magnetite. It's going to crush it, send it into here, and it's going to crush it again and create dust. And the dust, the thing that's nice about the steam separator is, while we are gated by HV before we can start getting byproducts, this kind of bypasses that in a way. So for each operation that this does at 8 per, we get some byproducts. So we're getting the byproduct of magnetite, and I also went through and put the impure pile of ruby dust, and we did get some chromium out of this. So we can go ahead and get small amounts of byproducts that are going to be useful for us to progress here at a very slow rate, but we will get them. I also moved over our snad sugarcane setup, put it in the wall here. I figured this would be an easy way to power these steam machines because we're going to be moving away from steam power here very shortly. I also went and rebuilt the EBF. So hopefully with what I want to do next, which is play around with some new power, we'll be able to run this thing without any interruptions, and it's going to be awesome. So let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do and get going. I think before we do anything else, we need to temporarily, at least, solve our power problems. And thanks to a document that one of my Discord members shared and is working on, they let me know that I can actually do a bit of a tier skip here, and using some of the looting that I've done, I can go ahead and make myself some numismatic dynamos. So that is awesome. Yeah, I'm able to make 2 of them just from the vibrant alloy gears that I found and the vibrant alloy that I could make into plates. But yeah, we have 2 numismatic dynamos, which is going to drastically increase the amount of power we're able to produce. Now, we don't have HNN set up to start feeding it diamonds, but I went through and looked at the numismatic dynamo recipes and realized that I can use apatite gems to actually power them. And I had an insane amount of apatite. So I just went ahead and filled one of these spruce drawers up. That should be able to last us for at least until we get our diamonds set up through HNN. So this is going to be awesome, and we're going to get this thing set up and turn on our EBF. Hopping down into our little service tunnel that we have, we can start to power this thing. Here I have all of the sugarcane going into the bottom of these steam machines. That's going to be a pretty common theme with these service tunnels. I want to decorate them and have it more neat and orderly, but for now, this is just what we're going to have to deal with, and that's okay. So we're going to adjust this a little bit. I already set up a laser node, so we're going to have this going power inputs. We aren't going to need the conductive iron FE overclockers on the input, just on the output, or the extract rather. And I realize now that we really need to get these energetic alloy FE overclockers to utilize these fully, but for now, we're just going to use the conductive iron overclockers. That will be plenty to power this machine. So now we're going to have to set up our numismatic dynamos, and hopefully not too difficult of a fashion. It's just going to be pretty messy right now because it's early. We're going to move this all into consolidated area eventually, and it's going to be nice. So we're going to put one tin item pipe here. We're just going to use a ULV conveyor. I assume that's going to be fine. Put that on the back side. Configure that to import into. We're also going to do round robin mode so that it hits all of these numismatic dynamos equally. Now we're going to grab our numismatic dynamos. We're going to rotate those around. In theory... Oh, I got to connect them. I was like, why is nothing going in? Okay, connect. Connect, connect. They are getting appetite. And thankfully, these won't waste all that much once its buffer is full. But it's going to be good enough for now. So now we're going to put 2 laser nodes. These are where we're going to have the extract on. We're going to click into it, put in our overclocker. Go into here. Put in our overclocker. We also need to set these to extract. That is important. And then now we're going to connect these laser nodes up to one another. And then we can take this one into this laser node and put this on the right thing. Yeah, and we're getting some power. Cool. So this is maybe not... Okay, it's draining a lot faster than I thought. I think maybe it's just because it's loading these up right now, but... You know, it's okay. That's going to be a decently robust setup for what we need right now, and hopefully shouldn't have any black or brownouts for our EBF. Now, I still don't have a whole lot of aluminum to smelt. I still need to get the clay electrolysis fully fleshed out, and that's another thing that I'm going to need to move over here. But for now, we can go ahead and put this in here. Ooh, I'm going to need to fix that. What does it need still? It needs all of the tools. Okay, well, I'm going to have to go back to the other base, get those tools, come back, and we should be good. It's probably a good time to talk about the inconveniences that you're already seeing and me having to move back and forth to craft a lot of the things that I'm going to need at the new base. Now, I'm aware of this. All of this is to start us heading in the right direction, moving towards applied energistics. So... yeah, the more that I can get infrastructure set up over there, the better it will be when I get applied energistics. And that is next up on the things to do. But we got to get a little bit more aluminum before we can jump into that. Bang this thing once, clear the maintenance, and throw in our aluminum dust. Put this to circuit 1. And we should not see any issues if I did things correctly and did the calculations correctly. It should be getting 1024 FE per tick, which translates to what, 256 EU? I think. I'm not 100% sure exactly what the conversion is, but it seems as though it's working. We already have one, and it didn't turn off, which is better than what we had before. So we should just be able to start loading this thing up with some aluminum and profit. A quick little aside here for something that I thought was hilarious. I was moving over these machines to start working on the pulsating prediction matrix setup so we could start generating some materials, and I broke this pipe, and it makes the funniest sound ever. I really wish I was recording it the first time it happened, but I need you guys to hear this because it is hilarious. They did not need to make it that goofy sound, but I love it. Something's going on here. I don't know if they snuck in a April Fool's sound pack, but I don't remember it sounding like this. I kind of love it. Well, that's enough of those shenanigans. We're back into the LV part of the base. I moved over all of our chests and our furnaces. So now we have all of our items in one place. This is a good place to start off from because now we start the journey into getting ourselves applied energistics. Now, before I even think about doing that, we are going to have to play around more with hostile neural networks. That's just the reality. We're going to have to figure this out. Now, we kind of have to work up the chain just a tad so we can start making ourselves different data models. So we're going to kind of have to start with the first tier, work our way up until we get to the overworldian tier, where we can start to create those Enderman data models as well as the Shulker, the all-important Shulker data model. Yeah, so we need to kind of start there. I went ahead and started producing, well, at least I have almost everything that we need to start making ourselves the pulsating prediction matrices. All we're going to have to do is route in some ender pearls into this extractor, and we should be good to go, I believe, to continue to or make more. So we're going to have to use this setup, at least partially, using some ender pearls that we have just laying around and from looting. I also went ahead and put in all of our LV machines here. This will likely move and or be, it probably won't be very useful for much longer because we're not that far away from getting into MV machines. So I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. It was just kind of there to help move things over. But the first thing we're going to have to do is make ourselves the model framework. It looks like I don't have any circuits left after crafting some more machines. Oh, good. Okay, well, we're going to have to sidetrack just a tad, make some more circuits, and then I'll be able to make those. A few more circuits have been made, and this is just the start, as we're most definitely going to have to make a lot more, but we can go ahead and make one of our model frameworks, and then we're going to start off with something simple. We're going to start off with the zombie data model, good old zombie data model. Before we start using this zombie data model, we're going to need ourselves some prediction matrices. I have this set up here. I realize now that I won't actually be able to make it using this. I'll have to use MV machines because this recipe needs an MV chemical reactor. I somehow missed that when I was making them. It's not a big deal, but we're soon to be making those. But I did have some leftover pulsating dust. I can just throw them in here in the alloy smelter, and we will begin to make ourselves some pulsating prediction matrices. We'll not be able to make that many, but it should go right into this very, very cool framed looking drawer. Now that we have the prediction matrices, we can throw this in and let it go ahead and run. And the cool thing about the newer versions of this pack is you no longer have to level up these data models. They already start at the self-aware tier of 30% chance to get the pristine. So not too bad. We're going to let this build up. We're actually after this overworldian matter because we're going to need that in order to make the subsequent different matters, such as the hellish matter, and then from there, making the extraterrestrial matter, which needs more ender pearls. Ugh, okay, so we may have to... I'm glad we saved some. I think this should be enough to make an Enderman data model to start producing these, but we also need to figure out where we're going to put this. Obviously, this is just here temporarily. I don't know if I want to do a room off there, a room off here, completely branch off into another region of the base. I'm not 100% sure, so I'll have to do some thinking on that while we build up some of those matters, and then we can maybe move some things over into a new room. We'll have to see. Now that we have the overworldian matter, we can go ahead and craft this up into the extraterrestrial tier. And I think I have some netherrack, I sure do, that I mined up from one of the ruined portals out in the overworld. So we can just go ahead and split these up. Ooh, I don't know. This is going to take a good amount, isn't it? Because I think we need, yeah, we're going to need more, but that's okay. we need 7 extraterrestrial matters. So we're going to need a bit more overworldian that we will then craft up all the way to extraterrestrial. But that's the basic process, and I'll come back whenever I have everything I need to hopefully make an Enderman data model. All right, that took a lot longer than I expected to get that matter, but in theory, we should be able to craft ourselves our first Enderman data model. Now, this is great and all, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we have the power to support this thing running. We don't have the prediction matrices set up to be able to run these things automatically. So we are going to have to backtrack pretty substantially here so that we can make this setup as robust as we can. So we're gonna have to do some looking into just the quest book in general and just complete some miscellaneous things that are gonna help us. We still need to get energetic alloy, which I am able to mix up now, so I'm probably going to do that. But we just have a lot of little things that we're going to need to do. So we need to figure out where the best path for us to go right now is, and it looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of mining, because if we're going to make our first MV circuit, which is what's required to make ourselves, or actually produce the resources from HNN, we have to go through this path a little bit more. So we have a few more things that are going to be needed to make before we get there. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I think the building and all the progress that it seems like we're making kind of put me off my game a little bit and kind of made me forget exactly how the progression of this went, as it has been quite some time since I've done so. But we are doing some things passively in the background that are going to be helpful, like cooking up more aluminum and just getting some more general stuff so we can craft large amounts of our LV circuits. That's kind of been the main focus, is get some materials for the low-end LV circuits so that we can start tiering up. So a decent amount of time has passed since that last clip where we made a bit more circuits. I think I ended up making pretty close to half a stack, so we made some more machines as well. And I also expanded this room a little bit to help accommodate some of the space that we're going to need. So I think this turned out really, really cool. And as you can see, I moved over some simulation chambers and made a couple more. And I also have this area set up. This is where we're going to store all of our products that we get from HNN. So we're going to have to connect this somewhere we can move things around. And I have just the stuff we're going to need to do that. But first, I want to talk about this setup. I looked all over YouTube and I tried to find a setup for the HNN that was like the most efficient, and I didn't really come up with anything that I liked. So I'm going to use the tried and true setup that I ended up using in my single player test world that I had right before I started this series. And this stack is kind of the model that I'm going for, and it'll make more sense once we start actually producing things. But this is kind of how I have it set up. In the middle, I have my laser nodes that are going to be powering these things. I'm also going to have item inputs on each of these sides that will be filtered to the pulsating prediction matrices. So this is going to be how it's powered and fed the matrices. But then we have to get things out. And we're going to keep it pretty simple. We're just going to use GregTech item pipes. So I just use 10 item pipes to extract the prediction or the pristine predictions and the matters. So that will go out, and then I'll have it all filtered into something, probably somewhere over here. Maybe I'll have a separate little line of drawers just for the matters, because we'll want to keep a supply of those as well. But I also ended up making some drawer controllers from functional storage, and these are awesome. So in order to connect all of these, I'm going to put this drawer controller on the side, and we made this linking tool. So we're going to shift right click to connect the controller to this, and then we're going to just link all of these drawers together. So now this storage controller should, in theory, be able to see all of these drawers. Now there's nothing in these, so it won't be able to tell, but let's say, for instance, we put in the orange anti-blocks up here. We should be able to see right here that the drawer controller has access to it. So if we wanted to take things out of this entire stack, we could pull it from one of these, or we can pull it from another controller access point. And this is kind of what we're going to do. So once we start producing the ender pearls, we are going to connect this access point to that drawer controller. So we're going to put this right here. And then we're going to have a node that's going to be pulling out specifically ender pearls and inputting it into this extractor. And that should be the last component that we're going to need to get ourselves these automated. Once I get the, like I said, MV chemical reactor. But once we get that, we should be good to start automatically producing these. I'm going to also connect this drawer to the network so that it can see the prediction matrices and we can very easily extract it and move it around. However, we do need to expand the space. As you can see, there's this green region selected that's around the drawer controller. Now, this is the region in which that we can have things disconnected and pull from it. So I can have a controller access point within here and pull items out of it. It can extend out of it as long as the actual block that's taking the items out is here. So we're going to upgrade these. You can actually shift right click and there's range here. So we can put in different upgrades to increase that. And it gets pretty large. So we're going to want to do that so that hopefully all of this stuff can be within the range. I don't know if there's any way to shift the range around so we're not getting it just in a square, or maybe I want to put this on this side or somewhere else, but that's kind of the plan. It's not fully fleshed out, but that's, I think, how things are going to work. We're pretty close to getting ourselves MV circuits. I made gallium arsenide like I talked about in the last clip. We had to get some realgar and some sphalerite, and we are using this setup to get that. I'm also processing some uraninite that we're going to use in the interim before we get this automated to make ourselves the pulsating prediction matrices. But that's kind of where I wanted to update you. I have a couple more things that I want to accomplish and show off, and let's just get right into it. For the next step on our journey to making MV circuits, we have to make ourselves a pyrolysis oven because we need phenol, because we have to coat the circuit boards in order to make them. So I went ahead and crafted all of the other components that we're going to need for it, except for the controller block. So we need some copper nickel cable, some 4X variety. Thankfully, I had to make some for the coils, but there we go. We should have everything we need. Now we just got to build this thing. I gotta see if I remember how to do it. I think it's in the middle, so we're gonna build it right here. Yeah, let's start it right here. Aha, and now we just gotta click this. Maintenance is fine, so we're ready to rock. All we gotta do is power this thing up, feed it with some wood, collect the phenol, and make ourselves the circuit boards, which I think is the last thing we need before we can make the circuits. I think we are just about ready. All we have to do now is make the diodes. I realized I forgot to make those. So we are going to make these into small piles of gallium arsenide. We're gonna throw them in this assembler. I had to make some fine annealed copper wire, which required us to make an arc furnace. So there's a couple steps involved in that. So we're going to let that cook up while we make the circuit boards. We made some silver wire as well. This doesn't look like it's super quick, but at least it's only 2 per circuit, and we're only going to be able to make 2 right now. We're going to have to spend some more time in between episodes making more of those circuits. So we need the phenolic printed circuit board, which we have, and then we want to combine it. Right now, we're just going to do it in the crafter, or in the crafting table, because we don't have sodium persulfate or iron 3 chloride just yet. We're going to get there. So we can make 14 of these. Not too bad. So there we go. We got 14 of those, and we can go ahead up here and grab our diodes. We already have the 4 that we need. And finally, let's see. Did I not make any copper? Oh. Let's go ahead and get this running. Okay, copper. Let's do in here. Yeah, I thought I made some. Maybe it's still in there. While that's going, let's check. Okay, and then we need this copper. Recipe. Nope. Okay, we didn't have any. That's okay. This thing is done. We just gotta craft this down. I believe it's just the 1X. Now finally, we can craft 2 good electric circuits. Our first MV tier circuit. Let's go! Well, I think we made some absolutely amazing progress today. It maybe took me a little bit longer to get this out, but I was just so excited to get building this base, as now we can really start to ramp things up. And with now the fact that we can make MV circuits, it's only going to get quicker and quicker as we go. I'm going to spend these first 2 circuits to probably make our first loot fabricator, and I'm going to spend time in between episodes making more and more circuits, hopefully in a more efficient way. We'll see what we can do there. But yeah, I'm really excited for how things went today. I hope you guys did enjoy. This one took a long time to make, as building is no quick task, especially when you're trying to make it detailed and like I tried to do today. But like I said, that's all I got. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like on the episode and leave a comment if you have any suggestions on rooms that I could build off of this and any ways that I can improve what I already have. But things are really going to start ramping up now. But that's all I've got for you. It's been Eagle. Peace.